G'day, it's Steve from offthegridnoz.com. Again. Oh no, not again. Yeah, again. Sitting there over on our little house veranda. The little house is a little flat we lived in. It's really cute actually. But yeah, that's not why I'm making this video. I thought I'd make a quick video. I'm going to try and keep this one brief, although I do say that quite often and still let them run. A quick video about why we bother to make these videos, why we have offthegridnoz.com, why we bother to expose ourselves on things like Facebook. I know I call it Faceplant, but you know, I call it Faceplant actually because so many people make an ass of themselves on there and expose parts of their personalities that probably in the real world would be akin to running down the main street like a dickhead and going arse over head straight on the concrete. Yeah, but Faceplant's alright. You know, we post our videos up on there. But why we do this? Now, I'm going to keep this real simple and relatively short. Through history, lots of cultures have had let's say, they developed the capacity to appreciate the old. Old meaning the older people in their communities. The old gain knowledge. You look at that pile of bricks down there? Yeah, don't say I don't recycle anything. I pulled that out of a building I renovated a couple of years ago and I'm still using them up. Anyway, back on topic. We impart our knowledge or we try to via these videos in the same way that the old people in some of the other cultures around, not so much Australia, but in the older cultures, like I remember back when I was a kid, the Greeks and the Italians, they would have their old people live at home. And that wasn't because they were really good kids and they just wanted to, you know, pat mum and dad on the head. Mum and dad had lots of information and still had lots of good input that helped their kids out. So, yeah, look, why we put these videos up, it's really that today's culture tends to exclude, in a lot of ways, the experience gained from the elders of the community. I know our native people, the Aborigines, they place quite a lot of weight on the information that comes from their elders. I would like to think that all of us people in the off-grid land or the alternative culture, alternative thinking land, still have some appreciation for the old that have maybe been doing battle with this stinking system. And I think I made a first video on the system. No one's going to argue the system's shitty, but the older people kicking around, they've had probably a bit more to do with it than the average 25, 35 year old. So yeah, we make these videos to try and impart or leave some record for people. I said to Kerry a while ago actually, if we can impart a little bit of information to one or two couples. We've got 7 kids between us and we have about 19 grandchildren, so we are qualified where it comes to the young. Unfortunately, very qualified. And a lot of our kids, or a few of our kids, have different issues that cause them to lean on us for advice and stuff. It's a lovely day. I changed the subject a lot, but it is a lovely day panning around. It's very warm again. I got the evap cooler running in there. It's working fine too, by the way. But yeah, look, we have our own kids that ask advice of us, so we put these videos up to put our general advice based on just our experience, not to definitively jam our information up people's noses. But there is too much of the Australian culture and to some degree other westernized nations, cultures that have gone sideways. I like to use the word sideways. Don't you love that? It's not a way I could go, but they've gone to the fucking shit, you know. I could go, yeah, they've gone to the fucking shit. But I prefer to just use the gentler term, which is they've gone sideways. Lots of information through lots of the elderly. Let's look at the elderly in Australia. Well, what do? Well, we throw a few of them into main control positions like Mr. Turnbull, and we revere him and a few of his mates, or I don't, but most of the, you know, media driven sheep out there in the burbs, they look at people like those guys that run our life, and They think they're special. Well, they're not special. They're just a few of the elderly that we choose to put at our head to pass down their experience via the rules and regulations that we all have to suffer from. As far as off-grid goes, me and Kerry throw these videos up to try and save 1 or 2 families. If I can help just 1 or 2 families in the space of a few years of doing this, and those 2 families extract anything, I mean anything of value from our videos, well, they're up for, historically they'll be on Faceplant or on our website. I should stop saying Faceplant, but I can't help it, it's a bit of a gag. But yeah, look, we impart this information so that those people, if even just 2 of them, can go away and do something slightly easier, slightly better, maybe, have a positive result, let's say, because of anything, even a few words that we might have said, all of this is worthwhile. And this is the thinking that goes and has been very solid within a lot of communities. Like I said, the Greeks and the Italians, the Japanese especially, Chinese, same deal. You might not like them for what they are, whatever the reason, get over it. I got a bridge over there, see that bridge? Don't worry. If I need to get over something, I built the bridge so I can get over it. But yeah, you might have an attitude towards a lot of these other cultures that isn't necessarily glossy for whatever reason. That's fine. But one part of their cultures that's really solid is this instilled thinking, which tells the young of those cultures to look up to the elders within those communities, or the more experienced in those communities, for advice. Australia particularly, we shove our elderly in we're pretty good at building a ye old retirement. Come retire here, we'll shove you in a little estate. We'll give you a lovely little building that's got everything bolted to it. You won't have to lift a finger except play golf, go to macrame classes, and fucking go for a walk around the park that we built for you. And as long as you shut the fuck up, we'll leave you there and you'll be happy and die and we'll bury you. That's westernised culture for you. Not much of the westernised culture has filtered down to the youth in any other way apart from that. Excuse me. So yeah, look, we make these videos to try and impart just a few words of wisdom to people. We don't care if people get pissed off, Get your little doll if you're into voodoo or black magic, or maybe you've got a Ouija board, cast your spell on us or hang shit on us. We don't care. We're only out here to throw our 2 bobs worth out, and if everyone would do this, the world would be a better place. I think what happens is the world has evolved to a point, and this is just my point of view, alright, you can argue this with me, but the world's evolved to a point where the youth make their own decisions based on what is fed to them from current thinking. Generally. Not all the time, but generally. And what that means is we have what current day system thinking would have you believe, which is a healthy way of thinking about things. I don't think it's healthy, because what happens during that process is the people who have the most experience, and referring back to us off-gridders and us alternative thinkers, well, we have the experience. If you've got a few years under your belt, we can impart some important material, important information to people that might actually help them. And it might steer them away from the bloody system. The system that can be such a bitch in so many ways. So that's why we make these videos, and I just wanted to make that very clear. This will be posted on our website, offthegridnoz.com. It's where we put most of our stuff, like I've said a million times. And we will scatter it around the place, on Faceplant and a few blogs and forums. But yeah, I just had lunch. I've got to avoid cheese. Actually, it was dry bickies, would you believe? Maybe I've got a gluten problem. But you know what? I don't go to the doctors. There's a little factoid for you. Unless I've got a limb hanging off or I need surgery, and that doesn't happen very often, in my 61 years I've been to the doctors, I can count it on one hand. I don't go to the doctors. We have, and I will make videos on this, we get into things like alternative healing. We eat well. We do things like colloidal silver, nascent iodine, iodine deficiency. There's a video in itself. Look that up on Google. There's lots of things out there. I'm not going to rattle on about that. It basically is a case of that we make these videos to instill in the youth that's coming through a different point of view, hopefully, a slightly different take on things that exist, as well as a slightly different take on things that they may think are accurate from what they've seen from the system that throws all the ideas out at them. I refrain from telling people to, like I don't tell our 25-year-old kids to not watch TV, although I suggest to them that we don't watch TV. But look, I could rattle on about that forever. Bottom line is, if you've got some experience under your belt, rather than just put it on faceplant in a simple one-liner, bang it out there, get it out there, throw a video together. On that topic, actually, I've been a webmaster for about 20 years now, since back when Windows 95 came out, and that's shown age. My computers are actually a hobby for me. So look, if you're looking for a website or you're looking for some hosting, and I'm talking no money involved, I can set you up with some space, give you some tools to throw some stuff out there. I think all of us older people, and we trip over, me and Kerry are just one of thousands and thousands and thousands in Australia. The world is full of millions. We all need to get together and throw this information, this newfound thinking, whether it be 1-year-old thinking or 20-year-old thinking, doesn't matter where you are on the scale. Who gives a fuck about that? I swore again. I know, it's after lunch, give me a break. But yeah, we need to throw our thoughts out there for the youth to look at, the younger kids. We've got daughters and sons that have got young families in their mid-20s, and I mean, Jesus, to be serious, even our own kids in a lot of ways are so lost. They've got their shit together, and some of them are very successful, but they're just so lost in their thinking. Us older people need to throw some thoughts out there that step outside the square, maybe bend some noses out of shape, maybe go against the grain of modern culture, maybe stretch the imagination in a lot of cases. But yeah, it's just a case of if you've got the skills. I like reading the boards, and I like reading forums, and I like Facebook. And we like our website because we like to, even though our website is a new one, we had one up for a long time, had a lot of content on it, but we lost that. Long story behind that, we just turned it off and started a new one. So the new website's only just a couple months old. But if you've got skills and you're an old fart, I'd like to see people, put their information out there and put it out with a bit of heart and soul, not just go, I like this and I like that because I'm a freaking braided haired purist, Well, you got braided hair, I got short hair, I mean, some people got long hair. Who gives a fuck about that stuff? Fair dinkum. Get a grip on that and just, put your information out there in some format that will stick. So, that's all I wanted to say. It's what would you call it? Steve from offthegridnoz.com's philosophical view of why we do what we do, and I'm talking myself and Kerry. It's very hard because I'm a builder to get away from the fact that I tend to build, probably a little bit more than I need to. Things like the fucking bridge and shit. And I like looking at alternative building methods. I like alternative thinking. We'll be setting hydroponics up. We don't actually garden in an orthodox manner. We're a little bit different to most in that regard. So yeah, if you've got some information, you've got a few years under your belt, by jingos, if you want a bit of a website to throw some information up on, and the website might not get a lot of traffic, but what you got to remember is a website is a historical piece of space that you can log your memories on. I know people call them blogs these days. Blogs and even Faceplant to some reason, to some degree, they're a bit bloody unco, you know. You've got to scroll through about 18 million things. You've got to register and join and approve and disapprove, and the ye old basic website space. You can chuck stuff on there and chuck your own thoughts on there, and if anyone trips over it, they'll get a great deal of benefit from it. And even if you only attract one person who gives a fruit, if that person gets some benefit out of it, that's a good thing. The bottom line with all of this is, like I said, I'm going to repeat it again, the elderly in this community, this westernised Australian community, the westernised American communities, the westernised European communities, they've lost a lot of the core elements that used to be within a lot of the European countries, which is us old buggers, you included if you've got a few years under your belt, we're of some value. And we don't put our advice out there to shove it down people's nose, unlike the modern system. The modern system will take a new idea and shove it down everyone's throat. Anyone that wants to watch. That's why we don't watch TV, but you've heard that before. Yeah, so we are responsible for trying to take perhaps the youth or the newer people to a new level where they look at perhaps things in an older way, an older fashioned way, with a broader mind, with none of this political correctness bullshit. You're not sick of that. I hope you are sick of that. This political bullshit, political correctness bullshit is like, it gets a lot of mention. I don't know whether any of you actually watch much YouTube, but you might want to give Stefan Molyneux a bit of a look. I'm not going to put his link in the description, I couldn't be bothered. Kerry might. Stefan Molyneux, great philosopher, probably the biggest modern day online philosopher. Great views. You won't necessarily agree with everything, but great. Michael Tsarion, another really good historian come cross philosopher. Michael Tallinger, if you ever want to look up Michael Tallinger, that guy, him and his Ubuntu movement, unbelievable. It makes a lot of us off-gridders in Australia look pretty lame. That guy is right out there, and he's a very smart man. He's not an airhead, or what I call loosely an airhead. Very smart man. So Michael Tallinger, Michael Tsarion, Stefan Molyneux, 3 goodies to look up. And I'm going to leave it at that as I pan around on the little kitchen deck. We sort of thought about doing something with this little flat. It's really cute. It's got a wood fire. I have actually videoed in there, so I won't bother doing that. It's his own little bathroom. But yeah, if you've got information, guys, throw it out there. Alright, don't be scared. Just like I'm doing now. Chuck it out there to look like a dick. Don't care if you look like a dick. I don't care if I look like a dick. Hey, you're only a dick because of someone else's point of view. If you believe in what you do, and you believe in what you think, and you think you have learned something that other people may not have tripped over, or at least had the opportunity to assess, throw your shit out there. Alright? Just throw it out there. The youth are being sucked down the shit chute by the system. Not because it's their fault, because it's just what they've grown up with. You know? Try and do something to fight the fact that the kids and the youth that come through have very limited understanding of so many things that older people have been through and figured it out. Alright? And do that. Anyway, look, if you want to subscribe, like, all that drivel, do the usual. Much appreciated. We like to see a like on there. It just helps us, you know, enthuses us for the next one. And I hope you have a bit of a think about what you're doing and believe in yourself. You know, if you've got some information there that you think's worthwhile, bloody well chuck it out there. Chuck it out there in a balanced way. Chuck it out there in a positive way. And if you can get one person trip over it to gain something from it, you have done probably the most valuable thing that you are capable of doing, and that's giving some chance to the future of mankind, of people. If we continue down this road of high-tech moral codes that have just gone west, gone sideways, politically correct and restricted behaviour by all the rules and laws, if you think that's all okay, well then don't throw your stuff out there. But yeah, if you have got anything to offer, my message is put it out there. And try to think like an old, like an old Greek family 30 years ago that I worked for many of. Oh, hello, I've got a visitor. I've got to go now. So, yes, Ivan, It's Steve from offthegridnoz.com. Do the usual. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.